Curating expectations is one of the most difficult things to master when starting out in sales. It can be very, very easy to get in the habit of constantly communicating with your customer instead of giving them the updates after you actually know what's happening. Also, if you don't pad expectations a little bit, you're going to end up having a whole train wreck every time there's a little bump in the road. Let me delve into this. For example, today I had a customer who'd been waiting for a month to pick up his brand new 2017 Audi Allroad. The car is super exclusive and he's super excited to pick it up, but it just got here at 9 a.m. and I haven't told the customer yet. Now, when I was starting out in sales, what I would have done is, finally, the car's here, called the customer. Hey man, your car's here, should be done in like 2 hours. Instead, I switched it up a little bit. I called the customer, I told him, hey, car's gonna arrive sometime today and it'll probably be ready tomorrow. This turned out to be a great thing because about an hour after the car got here, a tech called me. Actually, the tech's representative called me and said, Andre, your brand new Allroad that just got here, it's missing a seatbelt. I felt like this was the end of the world. This customer's been waiting for a month. But then I remembered, I've actually given myself a day of time where I can figure this out before I have to update the customer. So I said, don't worry, why don't you guys do the rest of the inspection and then let's figure out this seatbelt thing. At the end, they actually found out, I don't know how they messed this up, that the seatbelt was tucked behind the car's seat. It's a pretty amateur mistake. I don't know how it happened. But anyways, it did. But instead of what I would have done at the start when I started out in car sales, which is call the customer and say, whoa dude, I'm so sorry, your Allroad, it's missing a seatbelt. I just stayed mum, waited a little bit, and then turns out everything worked itself out. And because I didn't have to stress, I'd given myself some padding, I'd curated the communication. This meant that I was always cool. When the customer turned up, he never knew that I had gone through that whole stressful thing about losing a seatbelt and finding a seatbelt behind the seat. So, really important to curate communications. Hopefully that's clear. Make sure you give yourself a little bit of padding. That's what number 2 is about. Double your estimates. If a tech tells you it's going to take 2 hours to get this car ready, tell the customer at least 4. Because there's no way everything's always perfect. So if you always plan for the worst, you're going to be okay. Third thing to jump right into is something that I made a huge mistake in when I was first starting out. And you can actually still find this forum review of me from about 5 years ago. I go and read it every couple of months. Of a customer that had this experience and was so mad at me, they wrote a huge long review. You can find it. I'm not going to link it. It's really embarrassing. Anyways, what had happened was his mom had come in and expressed interest in a Cuvée silver A8 with beige interior, which means basically a champagne $100,000 car, champagne colored, gold, with beige interior. It's not a car we generally stock, but we were happy to get it for her. And an A8 commission was something that got me really excited. So I told the customer, you know what, let me find this car for you. And I got them all hyped up that I was going to do everything I could, because it's true, to find them a car. And I found one in Los Angeles. No way. We found this exact car. And so I called her as soon as, after she'd left, we'd called that dealership. They said we could have it. Everything was going well. I'd already taken deposit. I called her and said, hey, Miss So-and-so, your gold car with beige interior should be here, in 3 days, because that's what my manager told me. Instead of doubling it and saying 6 days, I said 3 days on the spot. Well, tragedy happens. Next day, dealership calls us, oh, car hasn't gone through inspection yet, probably won't be ready for pickup until tomorrow, but then it's the weekend and the trucking company can't pick it up, so probably a week until you can get the car. Shit, and I freaked out. I hadn't given myself any padding, so I called the customer back with an update, with a problem. You're not going to get your car in time. I know you just, sold your other car and you're not going to have anything to drive around with. Well, I'm so sorry. Instead of doing that, what I was doing was I was calling with a problem. I could have easily called with a solution, which was, hey, you know what? It's going to take about a week to get your car. I screwed that up. I should have doubled my estimate and I would have been fine. But because I screwed up, I could have called the solution. Hey, I know you don't have a car to drive right now, so I'm going to bring you out a loaner car. I'll Uber back to the dealership. That way, you're set. We'll get you the car that you want in a week. I didn't do this. And the customer felt like we were playing games. They accused us of all kinds of mean things, saying that, we had set expectations one way, which I had, and we hadn't delivered, which is another thing. And this customer went totally sideways. We tried to fix it, tried to sell them a car that we had in stock because they really needed a car today, and everything went to shit. And, then the son went home and wrote on some forum about me, which I'm still sour about. Anyways, so just to review, our video's taken a little bit of time already, but 3 in 3 days. I want to go over the 4 things that I think are really important when starting out in car sales to remember. Number 1, and this is for any customer service thing, you have to curate your communication with customers. What that means is, don't give customers updates every 10 minutes or every hour. A play-by-play is not what the customer wants. They want to give you a problem and you to deliver a solution. Brings us to the next thing. When you do have an update on an ETA for a customer, how long until the paperwork's ready? How long until their car's done in detail? How long until their car gets here from Germany? Double your estimate. No, there's some realm here. If a car's going to take 3 months to get here, you don't have to tell them 6. Just make sure to add some padding no matter what. Third thing, never call the customer with a problem. No matter how hard you have to stretch, always find a solution to be able to bring to the customer when something comes up. If the car's not going to be done in detail for an hour and they've got to get to work, tell them you'll drive them to work. Tell them that you'll pay for their details somewhere else. Whatever it is, figure out a solution, and even if they're not going to take it, bring it to them, just so that you can be the good guy. You can be the guy that came in and said, hey, here's something that maybe I can do for you because this is what's happened outside of our control, but I'm here for you. This is what I'm going to deliver. So hopefully you can review those 4 things and make sure to master your communication skill with your customer, and you're going to set way better expectations